Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight, you know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo beyond.
Benavidez has been eager to face Canelo for a while, but now he's weighing in on what might happen if Canelo ends up fighting Terence Crawford instead. While Benavidez openly admires Crawford and considers him one of the greatest fighters of all time, he still believes Canelo holds the advantage in this potential mega fight. In fact, Benavidez thinks Crawford wouldn't stand much of a chance and might even get knocked out.
You and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkarash know each other, and then we wanna.
Canelo and Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing, both reigning as pound-for-pound stars who have dominated their divisions. Canelo has achieved undisputed status at super middleweight and captured titles at middleweight and light heavyweight. With over 50 fights and just 2 losses, one to Floyd Mayweather early in his career and another to Dmitry Bivol in 2022 at light heavyweight, Canelo's track record is undeniable. His power, skill, and experience make him one of the most formidable fighters in the sport.
Benavidez said he want to fight Terence Crawford and get back for his brother. Terence Crawford ain't trying to do that shit, and this is the conundrum, right? A lot of people say, well, Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo Alvarez to prove.
On the other hand, Crawford is a fighter who remains undefeated. He's been an undisputed champion at both lightweight and welterweight, and his dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr. in 2023 cemented his status as one of the all-time greats. In August 2024, Crawford made a successful debut at 154 pounds, claiming the WBA light middleweight title from Israel Madrimov. This marked another milestone in his career as he became a champion in 4 weight classes. However, despite Crawford's incredible accomplishments, Benavidez questions how his skills would measure up against a larger, more seasoned opponent like Canelo.
I mean, I can't really say nothing about that. If that's what he wants to do, then that's what he's going to do. Canelo is a man that he does anything he wants to do. I don't think really what people say affects him. But I feel like the people, they want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. It's the biggest fight to make happen, and I feel like I'm the.
When discussing the potential matchup, Benavidez acknowledged that Crawford is a technical genius in the ring, but he also pointed out the risks of moving up through too many weight classes, even for someone as talented as Crawford. Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen, Benavidez said. But when he moved to 154, it wasn't that he had problems, but he didn't seem to have the same power he had at 147. Now imagine him moving up to 168, that's a big leap, and weight classes exist for a reason. I'd give Canelo the edge in this fight. The weight difference is the biggest challenge here. Canelo is naturally the bigger man and has shown he can handle himself against larger opponents, even at light heavyweight. Crawford, on the other hand, is still relatively new to fighting at higher weights. While his win at 154 pounds was impressive, moving from 154 to 168 is a huge jump, especially against someone like Canelo, who's been fighting at super middleweight for years. Benavidez is convinced that Canelo's size, power, and experience would be too much for Crawford to handle.
Crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
If Crawford were to face Canelo at 168, it would be his first fight at that weight, and Benavidez pointed out that's a lot to take on, especially against someone like Canelo, who's mastered that division. Canelo has been fighting bigger opponents for years and is accustomed to the power and speed at that weight. Crawford might be the best at 147 and even at 154, but 168 is a whole different challenge. Canelo's track record at 168 is hard to overlook. He's been the king of the super middleweight division and has proven time and time again why he's considered one of the best in the sport. His most recent fight in September against Jermall Charlo was another example of his dominance, as he defended his titles with ease, winning on points in front of a packed crowd at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Canelo's combination of power, precision, and ring IQ makes him a nightmare for anyone who steps into the ring with him.
This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar. That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him. So you're saying
Benavidez is confident that Canelo's experience would be a major factor in this fight. Having faced so many great fighters, Canelo knows how to handle different styles and adapt, which gives him a huge advantage. Crawford might be great, but he hasn't fought anyone like Canelo, Benavidez said. The experience gap would be massive, and I think that would make all the difference. He also pointed out that Crawford's power might not carry over well to the higher weight classes. At 147, Crawford was known for his ability to finish fights, but at 154, his power didn't seem as effective. Moving up to 168 would make it even harder for him to hurt someone like Canelo, who has faced and defeated some of the hardest hitters in boxing. Canelo can take a punch, Benavidez said. He's fought guys who hit much harder than Crawford and handled it. Crawford would have to fight the perfect fight just to have a shot.
Crawford fans, I've been trying to say this, dog. Canelo at 168 is all wrong for Crawford, dog.
Benavidez isn't shy about discussing the possibility of Canelo knocking Crawford out. He believes that if Crawford can't keep Canelo off him, it's only a matter of time before the Mexican superstar lands a powerful shot that ends the fight. Canelo's power is real, Benavidez said. If he catches Crawford clean, it could be over. I'm not saying Crawford isn't tough, but Canelo is on another level when it comes to power and finishing ability. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo puts Crawford to sleep. While the idea of Canelo knocking out Crawford may seem unlikely to some, it's a scenario that can't be dismissed. Canelo has proven time and again that he can end fights with a single punch.
You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised the Bibble won, or I'm surprised the Beterbiev won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight. Like,
Canelo's body shots are brutal, and his hooks are devastating. If Crawford can't find a way to handle Canelo's power, it could either be a very long night or a very short one for the undefeated American. While the fight isn't confirmed yet, rumors about a potential showdown in 2025 keep growing. Both fighters seem interested in making it happen, and fans are eager to see these two top fighters face off. But, as Benavidez pointed out, the weight difference could be the key factor. It's not just about skill, Benavidez said. It's about size, power, and experience. Canelo has all of that on his side. Crawford might be great, but this is a whole different challenge.
The beats on him like Dr. Dre.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger. He's just going to smile at you.
They ain't say going to beat him like the beat.
In the end, Benavidez's prediction is clear. Canelo would come out on top if the fight happens. The weight, power, and experience all favor the Mexican superstar. For Crawford, it would be the ultimate test, a chance to prove he can compete with the best, no matter the weight class. But, as Canelo himself said, weight classes exist for a reason. Deontay Wilder's perspective on Crawford moving up to fight Canelo carries significant weight, coming from someone with first-hand experience dealing with fighters in heavier weight classes. Wilder highlights the tough reality of size and power dynamics. He doesn't dismiss Crawford's skill but points out that the jump from 147 to 168 isn't just about numbers, it's about handling the physicality of bigger fighters. Wilder vividly compares smaller fighters moving up in weight to a baby trying to handle bigger opponents, emphasizing how dramatically the impact of punches changes. The heavier weight makes it harder for smaller fighters to absorb punishment or deliver effective shots. This becomes even more significant when you look at Canelo's track record. He's fought some of the toughest men in boxing, including light heavyweights like Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol, and has rarely shown signs of being overpowered. Canelo is known for his granite chin, never having been dropped even against hard-hitting opponents at higher weights. For Crawford, who is still new to super welterweight, moving up to face a man who has comfortably ruled the super middleweight division for years is a daunting task. The difference in their natural size was clear at their last weigh-in, with Canelo holding a solid 14 pounds advantage over Crawford, an impressive gap, especially when facing someone as physically dominant and powerful as Canelo.
Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do.
As the world eagerly awaits to see if this fight will happen, Crawford has a Hall of Fame legend in his corner offering not just moral support but also technical guidance. James Toney, a former 3-weight world champion known for being one of the most skilled boxers of his era, is excited to step in and train Crawford for what he believes is the biggest fight in boxing today. Toney's confidence in Crawford is evident in his bold statements, even going as far as to dismiss Canelo altogether. Canelo can be knocked out. He ain't all that, Toney said, adding his signature flair by claiming he could teach Crawford how to fry Canelo in the ring. Toney's belief in Crawford comes from his own history of dominating at super middleweight, but it also highlights a potential gap between perception and reality. While Toney's skills and experience are undeniable, the fact is that Canelo has evolved into a master of his craft, combining power, defense, and ring IQ into a nearly unstoppable force. Having someone like Toney in his corner could offer valuable insight to Crawford, but it doesn't change the physical disadvantages he would face against the naturally bigger Canelo. Crawford, however, remains undeterred. In a recent interview, he emphasized that this fight is about legacy. He called it the biggest fight in boxing today, comparing its significance to the classic boxing eras when superstars like Floyd Mayweather ruled the sport.
So easy, why do you need 3 times your normal pay? Crawford is easy, in my weight class it's an easy fight, but give me 3 times what I normally make. Benavidez is